This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by WBO World Middleweight Champion Savannah Marshall this evening. Savannah, it's been a while. How are you?
It has, yeah. It has been a while. I'm good. I can't complain. With the whole lockdown, at least athletes can still train. So yeah, I can't complain.
There's been one slight development since you and I last spoke. You were crowned WBO World Champion, as I mentioned, back in October there. You and I haven't spoken since. How have you been since you managed to enjoy your rest over Christmas?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I couldn't become a world champion, and then I couldn't go out. I couldn't celebrate. I couldn't even go for a celebratory meal because everywhere was shut. So everyone was, "Oh, how are you feeling? How did you celebrate?" And how I can't. We're all in lockdown. But apart from that, yeah, I've had a great Christmas. Just relaxing, getting fat, and just hit the ground running. 2021.
Given that you won the belt and then, like you say, you went home, you couldn't go out and party and celebrate, it was straight back into lockdown. Did it take a while to sink in at all, the fact you're world champion and then you were just sort of taking the belt back to your house?
Yeah, I did. It did. That's what I mean. I couldn't. It was just like the next day was just an ordinary day. Like I said, I couldn't go out and celebrate. I couldn't really see my friends or anything like that. It was just an ordinary day when I got back home.
Even still, when you did get back, you still have your family there, etc. What was it like being around everyone that you were allowed to see, and the reaction as well? I'm sure your phone was going mental too when you got back. What was that all like for the first few days?
Yeah, my phone never stopped. And I was actually, because I was on the Usyk Chisora pay-per-view card, I was actually quite surprised at how many people from my hometown of Hartlepool who wouldn't generally put themselves in the bracket of boxing fans paid to watch me. I was really I was chuffed. I was over the moon. Yeah, it was really humbling.
Now, you have got fight news to a certain extent. You're back on April 10th on the Ben Vargas bill. Tell us a bit about that. Any talk of any opponents? I appreciate it's probably hard to get opponents in right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And especially with the talks of, they're doing quarantine for, the hotel lockdown type thing. So, but with me being one of the last shows in April, or one of the last shows of the 6 announced, at least I'm like, they can be a bit more prepared for when it comes, to my fight. But there's a couple of names floating about. I don't really want to mention, but there's a couple in the mix and a couple from Europe as well. So they're not coming from too far away. But like I said, with me being one of the last shows that has been announced, I'm hoping all that will be sorted and there'll be a bit of a plan put in place for athletes coming in from overseas.
I know you don't want to say anything about names. That's absolutely fine and acceptable. But can we expect this to just be a maiden world title defense rather than you moving up or unifying at this point, given all the restrictions?
Well, to be honest, I did want to go up because there's two great champions at super middle. There's Franchon Cruz, who's the WBC and WBO, and also there's a Swede called Elin. I can't pronounce the second name, but she's got the other 2 belts. So that was kind of, I kind of wanted to jump straight in the mix with them too, but they've both apparently got other things going on at the minute. I don't know if they're fighting each other to unify the whole division. But yeah, so it's just a defence, and I think that is due to lockdown, to the COVID, to be honest, maybe financial aspects in there as well.
You mentioned there is 2 unified champions in the weight above you if they do meet, and then we get an undisputed champion. Would that automatically be priority number 1 for you to move up straight away and try and target that, a gateway into becoming undisputed world champion?
I'd love to, yeah, I really would. To be honest, I wanted to get in there before they boxed each other, but because I'm a world champion, the weight below, there's still a waiting list, so I don't expect to maybe be front of the queue back at the super middles. But yeah, I'd love to jump straight in with either one of them two.
Now, before the WBO middleweight title fight came about, you were actually scheduled initially to go to light heavyweight. I believe every belt is vacant up there. You told me, admittedly, you prefer to be between 160, 168. Is that still a possibility, though? Would you still go up to 175 if that was on the table?
I could, but that was more of the fact of the chance just being there. It was never really something that crossed my mind to go up to light heavy. It was just because I was given the chance. It was either just have, a 10 rounder, no, not for a belt, or fight for a world title. So that was why I was fighting for that belt, because it was just being given the chance. And it's hard getting your foot in the door, I think, especially with the women. I mean, it's a bit more structured with the men, where because there's a lot more, there's mandatories and things like that, and you can work your way up the rankings. But in the women, I don't think it's as structured, and just getting your foot in the door, then other doors open.
Do you think that's something that the female side of the sport needs to work on, then, being a bit more strict with the governing bodies and making these mandatory fights, or making the rankings a bit more important?
Yeah, definitely. But I put that down to the pool of women being very shallow. I think that's just the way it is at the minute. Hopefully in the future, when the weight classes fatten up a little bit, then it would be a lot more structured. But at the minute, I think it's just because there's, like I said, the numbers are quite weak.
With that said, we do have another Olympic cycle hopefully coming into an end this year. The Olympics did get pushed back. Hopefully them divisions will get a little bit deeper. In the time since you've turned pro, though, I know you said it's still quite weak in some divisions. How much has women's boxing developed? How much deeper has it got since you first turned over, even?
Oh, loads! It's really come on. I mean, Fransson and Elin the Swede, we've already boxed each other. It was like after 2016, there was just a massive surge of elite international women all turned over at the same time. I mean, the Spaniard who Katie boxed on her last fight, she was. We were all going to the same tournaments together. Obviously, Natasha Jonas, Chantelle Cameron. So although we were all turned over at the same time, we've known each other years previous from going to all the international tournaments. So without a doubt, after Tokyo, whenever that may be, I think there'll be another massive surge of women turning over.
Now you have got that belt and you're looking to take on other champions, and you've got options in front of you. Do you sometimes look back at the times where maybe it wasn't so easy, maybe you were doubting whether this was the right route to go down, to be a professional and stuff like that, and just think what a way you've came since that point?
Well, to be honest, for me, I never had no ambition to turn pro. I only really turned pro because I got offered a contract. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't looking to turn pro. I never went looking for offers or looking for a contract. I just got, someone rang me up and said, oh, so-and-so's offering you a contract. Do you want to turn pro? So that's really how that come about for me. And it has been tough, really tough. Even now, even being a world champion, I did honestly think that, right, as soon as I'm a world champion, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. The massive sponsors are going to come, the big brands, and it just, I don't know if it's just me, but it just hasn't happened. I'm putting it down to COVID. I'm hoping it's not me. But it's tough. It's really tough, pro boxing. People think it's, big paychecks and, just an easy, all you do is train, but it's not like that at all. It's a tough game. You have to be smart, and it's a tough business. And I think if you're easily put off, I don't think, boxing, professional boxing for you.
We have weathered it out and you got the belt, and I'm sure the big sponsors will come. I'd like to just say, what do you think Savannah Marshall would be doing right now if she hadn't turned professional, though?
I'm hoping she'd be sat on a yacht somewhere. Drinking a nice, I don't know, cocktail, counting her millions in the bank.
One day.
No, God knows. I
Undisputed
think I'd still be
champion.
involved in sport. I don't know if I would have went into coaching or teaching or something like that. But it's one of them things. I do, although it's got quite a dark side, I do really enjoy what I'm doing, and I am happy where I am. I'm happy with Peter. I know that Peter's got my best interests at heart, and Peter would never, sign me up for something, that wouldn't be for me. Also, Huey, I train in Huey's gym. Very thankful for him letting me train there and things like that. And I am looked after. I am looked after. But like I said, God knows what I'd be doing. I just hope I'd be happy.
Savannah, I just want to get your thoughts on a few female fights that we've had confirmed or look like happening in the future. There was one the other day, McCaskill Breakus, the rematch for all the marbles. It was confirmed. Repeat or revenge?
I think revenge. I think she had a really bad night. Cecilia had a really bad night, and I think she is the better boxer. The only thing that is going against her is her age, and it's like swimming uphill. You're not as faster. Your reactions aren't as quick. And Jessica's hungry. She showed that in the last fight, but I do think that Cecilia has got the beating of her, and I think that she will get it this time.
And another one I wanted to ask you about, your friend Chantelle Cameron was in the headlines a week or so ago saying that she wants to be undisputed champion at 140, but if she achieves that feat, she finally wants to take on Katie Taylor. She wants to meet her. She'll do it at lightweight. She'll go down undisputed champion, be undisputed champion. Is Chantelle Cameron the fighter that can conquer Katie Taylor?
I think that she's got all the ingredients. And I think Delphine Persoon set the blueprint. But the only thing is, I think what Delphine done, with her style, she was very raw. She's got that although she's like an accomplished professional, she's got that very raw novice style. And there's nothing worse, even in sparring, when you're sparring a bit of a novice and shots are coming from every angle that you can't see. And sometimes they do things that they don't really mean to do. And I think Katie struggled with that, but most fighters struggle with that. There's nothing worse, like I said, than sparring a novice that is just too unpredictable. But I think if anyone, like I said, has got the ingredients to beat Katie, it is Chantelle.
And Savannah, final one from me. We've got our first few shows set out for the year, but there's a big year ahead. Plenty of big fights to look forward to. Speaking of your 2021 wish list, if you could see one fight in boxing this year, what's top of your list and why?
Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields.
Do you think we'll see it this year?
I think we will, yeah. I know I will. I know that fight will be made this year. I couldn't give you a specific date, but I do know it'll happen.
Is that one you'll go stateside for?
To be honest, if it was up to me, no. Due to the fact that Peter can't get in the States, and I had my debut in the States, so although I'm not saying I've done this and I've done that, but as a professional boxer, you do want to go stateside, but because I've already done it, it doesn't really appeal that much. I'd rather do it where, all my friends and family could come watch, and I know that she'd break her neck to get over here. So let's have it in the UK.
Why not? Well, Savannah, thank you so much for your time this evening. I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll catch you close at the fight when you've got an opponent announced, but thanks as always for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you very much.